Once you're in a body that is breathing properly, hydrating properly, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, blood sugar levels, and eating what it needs in order to thrive, then that body also needs to be aware of its physiological, its kinesthetic intelligence, its position. It's a body that needs to, whatever you're doing, needs to be able to, for starters, wake up fresh, relaxed, ready to go. Have a day of whatever level of work, energy is required, and of course for that you have to breathe appropriately and drink appropriately and eat appropriately. And then at the end of the day, it should be able to close its eyes, say goodnight, Gracie, go to sleep, and sleep well. And if that's not happening, that has to be a warning light that you're out of alignment, that you're out of balance. Not that there's something wrong with your DNA, not that you need electrodes in your ears or up your whatever. It's that you're not breathing properly, eating, you're not living rightfully. You're not stretching the body properly. You're not aligning it properly. And this body, when it's healthy, will live in a state of chronic wellness and pleasure. The bottom baseline, when you wake up, you've got to wake up feeling good. And if you're not, then you need to look at what you're doing in order not to feel good. The first thing that we do is physiologically is that we don't pay attention to our posture. We don't pay attention to our alignment. Now, I have a story, a direct personal experience of problems with my neck. I was shaken as a child, and it created problems in my neck, and pains, and fears, and anxieties, and stresses. And I learned how to access that trauma psychologically and emotionally and release it. I'll talk about that in a later segment. But physiologically, kinesthetically, I was doing something with my body. And here's what it was that I was doing. I would pick up if I wanted to go hiking, I love to go out in nature and hike, I could take a quality pack, load it evenly, put it on my back, and I've carried up to 60, 70 pounds up a mountain. And when you arrive, you're a little tired, but you're not sore because it's balanced and you're paying attention. That's like once in a while. But on a daily, regular basis, to go to work or to go to school, I would pick up a backpack with some books and I would sling it over one shoulder. And my body, of course, one shoulder gets pulled down, and I would get a clear message from the body, which is out of alignment. And then I would hear my mind saying, it's just a few feet to the car, right? Or you're sitting in a certain position and you begin to feel that you're a bit uncomfortable. But instead of repositioning yourself in a way that allows you to sit balanced, aligned, and straight, and relaxed, you stay slumped. You get more relaxed. So instead of training the body to find an effortless balance point, sitting or standing, you choose to put yourself in a position that you slump, you slouch, you lean over, you're hung out, right? And this will create a habit pattern. Over the years, these habit patterns will increase. The other thing that happens is that the body has a certain range of mobility. And it's extremely valuable to go and extend and stretch your body through that range of mobility. So for this, there's a discipline, there's a practice, there's an exercise, there's an approach which is called yoga. There's many different types of yoga. And for yoga, all the different types of yogas that exist, you need to find the one that works best for your body. For the purpose of strengthening your body, there's yogas that you do to exercise and strengthen your yoga, power yogas, Ashtanga yogas, and those are excellent ways of doing it. But as far as completely relaxing your body so that you can find a balanced, intuitive center quickly and effortlessly, I found that for me that I need a yoga which is the least effort yoga, the most relaxed yoga that allows me to stretch and go full range of my body. So I reach out and I touch my toes. I don't push, I don't pull. I just go and I touch to see how far they go. And that tells with awareness, and I know how far I can go in that direction. I raise my arms to the limit. I stretch them out, I move them, and I get a sense of my range of motion and my range of being in all dimensions and all directions. And that allows me to prevent injury. And the body now has an awareness, and what I've noticed is that every day, it's a little bit different. If I know ahead of time how far I can jump, I don't over-exert myself or under-exert myself. I go whatever range the body has in the moment. Now, additionally to that, there's some brilliant studies by an anatomist, a physiologist, who studies something that is called integral anatomy. And his name is Gil Hedley. I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to show you links to the video from him. And he talks about something he calls the fuzz, which has to do with the fascia in your body and what happens when you don't give your body full range of motion. One thing is massage and body work to clear it up. Another thing is regular movement, yoga, and dance and movement. And the thing to understand is that the fascia is the connective tissues that connect everything in the body. The body, you can think of it as bubble wrap. The fascia is like a bubble wrap, and the bubbles have the different organs and the different muscles and the different tissues that are all wrapped up. And it's an organic unity. All of your nerves go through the fascia. As your body gets fuzzed up and its dynamic range of motion solidifies, your intelligence goes down. So all you do is jump up and down in the same way, or clap your hands in the same way, or always sit in the same furniture, always do things in the exact same way. You're putting in patterns into your entire system, including your nervous system. And you will have less fluid dynamic range for your body, mind, body to function. So if you always eat the same foods, and you always breathe the same way, and you always keep yourself hydrated the same way, and you always move the same way, and you always do things, you box yourself in, and you get fuzzy. Everything fuzzes over. Your consciousness, your awareness, your intelligence, your sensitivity fuzzes over. So, see for yourself. Eat a wider range of foods, move in a greater dynamic range, listen to more kinds of music, dance to more things. Stretch, think, learn new things continuously in all areas, in all dimensions. And the entire intelligence of the organic unit of the entire body can only increase. And restrict and limit. I don't eat this because I don't do that, and I don't dance this way, and I don't move that way, I only do this, and I never do that. Just boxes you in, fuzzes you up, and then your body starts to constrict, and you're that's it. Like you just get into wear patterns, right? So one very valuable thing to do is to, whenever you're sitting, is to look at yourself and see, are you sitting in a way that's aligned and balanced? For example, I created a room where I have a movement room, a room just for yoga and dance, and I put mirrors on the opposite walls so that I can see myself and I can see if I'm sitting, standing in alignment, and I will stand in front of a mirror and practice aligning myself until I can feel it in my body. What does it feel like to be aligned? Otherwise, it'll be like this. I had an amazing yoga instructor, a yoga teacher, who I went to go see many years ago. And then I went back, like I saw him 10 years ago, I did a course with him, and then I went back like 2 years later, 3 years later. And it was very interesting to see that 3 years later, he was teaching yoga exactly the same way, and that the limitations in his range of movement, nothing had changed. His speech was exactly the same. His jokes were exactly the same. Everything he said was scripted, including his motions and his movements. He was a yoga professor. And there are lots of teachers out there that do the same thing. And if you do that, you're going to have a limited range of being, as opposed to having a full range, dynamic range of learning new things, eating new things, moving in new ways, listening to new types of movement, continuously seeing what your range of stretching and mobility. And sometimes you have little mobility, so you go dancing and you dance very little. You can dance. You don't have to do that every time. Even, right? You wiggle and wiggle and wiggle. And, as kids, we're taught to stop fidgeting. Fidget. Fidget. Wiggle in your seats. Put some movement into your body. Melt the fuzz. Shake and wiggle. And shake. And you can do it anywhere. Stuck in traffic, at your desk, eating lunch. You can wiggle. It feels yummy. And before you know it, you might find yourself, you're eating something yummy, and you're just dancing away, and your body's just dancing, and you were just having breakfast. You woke up, and your body's ready to dance, and you're having breakfast, and you're going to start your day that way, and I guarantee you, it's worth experiencing to have a body that wakes up ready to dance, and can go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, can say, I've had a full day, let's go dance. Or, you know you're on the right path when you suddenly wake up at 3 in the morning with an urge to dance. You put on your Bluetooth headphones because you don't want to bother anyone. And you just dance alone in your living room, right? In your underwear, just having fun, right? Like Tom Cruise in what's the name of that movie? But he's just dancing in a shirt and just, socks and underwear, just having fun. The essentials that a body needs at the physical level. You need the right amount of air for the situation, the right amount of water for the situation, the right amount of vitamins and electrolytes, water-soluble nutrients, the right blood sugar levels, and the right amount of proteins, fats, and carbs from plants, animals, mushrooms of all kinds, whatever is yummiest and most delicious. Then, stretching and alignment and wiggling and dancing and massage. When you lay down and you go to sleep, lay down and align yourself perfectly. And fall asleep perfectly aligned. And when you wake up, whatever position you're in, align yourself in bed first and give yourself a little snooze in that last position and get your body used to falling asleep aligned and waking up aligned. If you wake up in the middle of the night, give thanks to the possibility that you might be tight and holding on to something. I had a girlfriend who was having serious arthritis problems in her hand, and the doctors were convinced that she had some sort of autoimmune disorder and lupus-like syndrome and things like that. And I wasn't exactly sure what her situation was. We just met and we just kind of connected, and she started living with me. And for starters, she had limited her diet for whatever reasons, ideological and financial reasons. And I had a kitchen full of yummy foods, and I'd eat all sorts of yummy things. So she started eating a wide variety of foods. And then I remember waking up one night in the middle of the night, and she was asleep, and her hands were like this. And I remember touching one of her hands just to see what's happening. And in her sleep, she went, ow. So I would wake up every night and release that. And within a week, she says, it's really strange. My arthritis has disappeared. And I said to her, well, I have a story I have a confession to tell you. I've been watching you in your sleep. And she goes, huh? She goes, yeah, I woke up and your hand was like this, so I've been doing this and releasing it. And it turned out that when she was a little girl, her mother, who was less than a stable person, left her with her grandparents, and her grandfather was an alcoholic, and he would grab her hand and twist her and beat her. She was 5 years old. And she kept that trauma locked in her body. And she was now in her mid-20s, and she would keep this trauma in her hand, right? So by bringing awareness into it, it would unlock it and release it. So think about, put awareness into what trauma you might have locked into your body if you have any. You find yourself clenching. And then you clench here, which tightens here, which tightens here, and then you have a neck problem, and then you have to take a pain relaxant or a muscle killer, right? So muscle relaxant or a painkiller. So by putting awareness into the position of your body, how you eat it, how you breathe, how you move, this will resolve, listen, if it only resolves 1% of your issues in your body, that's 1% less tax you're paying. I mean, that every little bit helps, but the odds are it'll resolve 80 to 90% of syndromes, issues, and body issues, just being aware of your body. So it can only be additive, being more aware of how your body functions and what it needs to feel good. Right? Does that make sense?
Physical alignment. Now, the quality of our physical alignment, whether it be normal and good physical alignment, peak performance physical alignment, and unhealthy and poor quality physical alignment, will have a direct effect on the amount of energy that's needed from low to good to high to accomplish the same tasks, low activity intensity to high activity intensity. In other words, when I'm at peak performance physical alignment, my body is symmetrical, it's balanced, I'm feeling relaxed, energized, ready to dance, I can perform low intensity activities and even high intensity activities with a minimal amount of energy. As compared to when I am in normal physical alignment, where as we get older, when we reach our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I'm in my mid-50s, it's easy to accumulate some aches and pains and stiffness that are age-related. We have poor sleep. And if our body's out of alignment, we do okay. We still get around. We can still perform. But it takes more energy, so we get tired more. Right? And we notice this, children tend to outrun us adults because they're at better performance because they tend to be more symmetrical and more balanced because they've had less years to accumulate behavior patterns of sitting improperly, walking improperly, holding our bodies in a way that keep us out of alignment. And this generates wear and tear on the body to the point where it's very common these days to see the vast majority of people in very poor, unhealthy physical alignment. And these are people that are in chronic pain. They have all sorts of illnesses and injuries. They're limited physically, emotionally, and mentally. So think of it as your car. If the wheels and the alignment of your car are out of alignment, not only do you have more wear and tear on the wheels and the brakes, but you also use more gas. You need more power to get through. Same with the aerodynamics of a boat or a performance car or an airplane. The smoother the alignment, the least amount of resistance. So there's a certain amount of resistance in our bodies and a certain amount of energy and tension that goes into our bodies to deal with the fact that we might be in unhealthy and poor alignment or just normal alignment. And then there is a peak performance alignment that once again you discover by practicing for yourself. And this is where the discipline of yoga comes in, and it's a beautiful way of learning how to effortlessly align yourself or with the least effort. Now there's different types of yogas. There's power yogas they're power yogas. You power through them. But then there's yogas like Hatha yoga and Raja yoga, where the point is to how to balance yourself and align yourself. Now, you don't need to be an advanced yogi or take a bunch of classes if you don't have access to them. A lot of times all you need to do is just stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself. And notice, are your shoulders at the same height? Is your head straight? Are you tilting to one side? Notice when you're sitting, is one foot out of alignment with another? Are you slouching when you're sitting at the table and eating? Are you sitting up straight? You can practice balancing yourself in alignment so it takes the least amount of energy. And with a little bit of practice and with awareness, your body can attain to a higher quality physical alignment, which will mean that your body will then need less energy for different activities and less energy just to relax. So one of the exercises you can do, for example, is when you go to bed, lay down in your bed, on your back, comfortably, nice and straight, and align yourself as perfectly as you can. Your left side, your right side, your legs, your arms, just learn how to do that. And then if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're kind of twisted and turned to one side, realign yourself. Each time you do this, you bring the body back to a higher quality alignment. And slowly, slowly over time, you can learn to realign yourself. And of course, if you have access to a yoga class, or a teacher or a guide or a facilitator that can help you find out how to get your best alignment, try it, because it'll improve the quality of your life.